Didn't see you there. Well, since you're already here, you might as well stick around. Zoe and I, hi Zoe. Everybody say hi to Zoe. We're gonna be making some Polish potato and cheese pierogis, and the recipe is coming right up. Right, Zoe? All right, Zoe had to take care of her cat duties, but here we are with the ingredients that we're gonna need for this recipe. For the dough, we're gonna need flour, hot water, some olive oil, and salt. Filling, that's what we're gonna need. So we're gonna start with farmer's cheese. Very important that it's farmer's cheese. You can't substitute it with anything else, all right? Large onions. Large onions are gonna go on the inside of the filling, and the other onion is gonna go as a caramelized onion topping to make it nice and shiny and very more robust kind of a texture to them. Next up, we're gonna need the potatoes. We're gonna peel them, we're gonna boil them, then we're gonna mash them, okay? And last but not least, secondly but not least, we're gonna need some butter, salt and pepper, obviously. We're gonna season those nicely so that they taste delicious. We're gonna finish those up with some sour cream, can't go without it, and fresh green onions. First off, potatoes, all right? We're gonna peel them. Potato peeler, your best friend when it comes to doing that job. Cold water and a saucepan, any other container is fine. You're just gonna peel the potatoes, put them in cold water, that's gonna starch them. It's gonna make the pierogis a lot more tasty. Obviously a container for the peels, right? And as we finish up peeling the last potato, dunk it in the water, all right? Swap them, and we're gonna cut them into pieces. That way, they boil a lot faster, okay? Be careful, potatoes are kind of tough. Get a sharp knife, sharpen it beforehand, and cut them into 4s, 5s, whatever you prefer, whatever makes it easier. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that they try to be at the same size so that all of the potato pieces boil at the same time and are done at the same time. Now that all of our potatoes are diced up, we have our water. Season it with salt. Remember, it should taste exactly like the ocean. So, stir it up. Don't be afraid to try it. Perfect. Add the potatoes right in. Making a mess, that's alright. And now they're ready for boiling. Stove on, high heat. And it's in, ready to go. Alright, let's make the dough. Flour. Make a little divot in the middle. We got our oil. In. Salt. Right in. And our hot water. Hot water, very important. Try not to burn yourself. We're just gonna slowly start to work that flour into our liquids. Alright, so our ingredients are somewhat connected together, but we definitely need to knead the dough a lot more. So there you go, right on your countertop. Make sure you clean it beforehand. Right out. Do your best. It doesn't have to be exact. Some flour and oil is gonna be still stuck to the ball. And for all of you that decided not to go to the gym today, you can make this your excuse. We're coming closer to the consistency that the dough needs to be. But when you think you're done, you're not. You gotta keep kneading. When you wake up tomorrow morning, trust me, your arms are gonna be sore, which is a good thing. That means you put in some work. A nice technique to kneading dough, nice and flat, in half and press it in. In half, press it in. The bottom of your palm is your best friend. Make sure you work that dough a lot. It's gonna build all that gluten within it. It's gonna make it nice, smooth, flexible, and easy to work with. See, at this point, when I'm kneading the dough, it's not really sticking to my fingers anymore. It's a good sign. It's almost done. Another good clue, when you press into it, should bounce back ever so slightly. All right, good news. Our dough is pretty much done. There is just one step left for it. Get some saran wrap and wrap it in tightly. If you don't wrap it in tightly, it's going to dry out for you. You don't want that. All four sides. There you go. Press it in. And now we're going to let it rest at room temperature. 30 minutes. Longer doesn't hurt, but at least 30 minutes. And look at that, perfect timing. Our potatoes are boiling, stir them around. You don't want them to stick to the bottom of the pan. Get a fork and just try to find a potato in there. Try to press the fork into the potato. If it gives you any resistance, it's not ready. They're not ready. You want to make sure that when you press the fork into the potato, it slides in like a knife cutting through butter. Since the potatoes are finishing up right now, and we have some time to kill, come and follow me. Let's check up on Zoe. Zoe, we're halfway there. The potatoes are boiling. The dough is ready. It's resting half an hour. You excited for some Polish pierogis? Potato and cheese, your favorite. I'm pretty sure the potatoes are ready, but let's check it out. Perfect. Let's strain them. That's hot. Hot. Be careful. Things are hot in the kitchen, okay? All right, onion. I really wasn't looking forward to it, but that's why the protective gear. The easiest way to mince an onion, cut it in half, place the other half on the side, all right? See, that's where the root is. You want to leave that intact. You're going to make a couple of horizontal slices all the way up to the root, but don't cut it through the root. Again, again, again. Doesn't have to be perfect, but don't cut through the entire onion. Now, vertically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to cut against all the cuts that you've already made. You'll notice that your onion is just going to fall apart into teeny tiny little pieces, which is exactly what you need to caramelize them. One more cut, maybe. Perfect. All right. Now they just fall apart like that in your hands. There you go. Dice them a little bit more. Now, first and foremost, olive oil. Okay? Pan, heat on high, and probably 2 tablespoons. Just let it rip. The best way to check if your olive oil is ready, it's ready. Some water in there, it's gonna start popping. That means it's hot enough. Onions in. Perfect. Now, salt. The salt is gonna help the onions release all their water and caramelize a lot more. There you go. And just a touch of butter. You want to use a wooden spoon. You don't want to scratch your Teflon with anything metal, like a knife or a spoon or a fork. There you go. And just mix them around once in a while. Shake them around. Don't let them burn. You always want to make sure that you flip the bottoms to the top. There you go, just like that. Scrape it from the sides. That way they're all being cooked very evenly. There you go. Perfect. Push against the back corner. There you go, just like that. Make them fly. That's how they're gonna be tasty. The onions are pretty much ready. Golden brown, just like they're supposed to. Make sure to keep mixing them all the time. You don't want them to burn. And yeah, heat off. So our filling is gonna be 3 parts: potatoes, farmer's cheese, and caramelized onions. Let's get started with the potatoes. Into the pan. Season. Pepper. salt. And now you mash them up until they're nice and soft, creamy consistency. Again, like with kneading the dough, if you skipped on gym today, hey, at least now we have an excuse. Now that our mashed potatoes are pretty much done, set those aside, and let's get to our farmer's cheese. Into a separate bowl, squeeze it out. Second packet, we're gonna use 3. It's gonna be different for everybody, whatever they like. You should follow the recipe, but we're doing it for 2 servings. So the nice thing about pierogis is that you can freeze them, and they will taste as good in a week, in a month. Don't push it into a year, but just as good as the same day you made them. Because all it takes is just to boil them. So that's why we're making a little bit extra. The filling, caramelized onions, farmer's cheese, or mashed potatoes. Everything can go in the same pot. Make sure you scrape everything out. You don't want to leave any of the magic in the saucepan. There you go. Another one. And use the same masher. Just mix everything together. Combine it really well. Just try to really include all the flavors, all the ingredients in the same filling. Don't leave anything out. Just keep mashing. Get yourself a handy spoon. Again, just try it. A little bit more salt. Pop it up. Be careful with it. Not to over salt it. You can always add salt. You can't really take it back. Let's try it again. Just perfect. All right, look at that. We're almost done. Look at this dough. It's been resting for way longer than 30 minutes. Like I said, 30 minutes at least. Longer is better. Let's give it a try. Perfect. Make our life a little bit easier. Cut it in quarters. Rolling pin. Just a little bit of flour. Cover it up so it doesn't stick. Start rolling it out. Perfect. Just flour your surface ever so slightly. It won't stick that way, and it won't hurt the dough. Keep pulling it out. Look how beautifully this dough rolls out. No wrinkles. I feel like the best way to have an idea on is the perfect thickness is if you've ever seen a quarter, that's how thick it should be. I feel like we're almost there. We're getting closer. Some parts need a little bit more love. You're gonna find a 2.5 inch cup in diameter. And that's what you're gonna use as a form to press out the circles in your dough. And look at it. That's not a masterpiece, but it's gonna work. You can always reuse the leftover dough. Now, very simply, just gonna press the cup into your dough and twist it a little bit. And look at that, it should peel right off. Look at those. Lift them up and put them just right to the side so that they're ready when you're gonna start to fill them in with the filling that we've already prepared in our side dish. I got my other piece of dough rolled out, and making pierogis, you can never go wrong. Smaller, your choice, bigger, hey, your choice. So we found another circular shape, and hey, you can make pierogis with bigger pieces of dough or smaller pieces of dough. It does not matter, as long as you're happy with it. There are no mistakes. There are only small little happy accidents. Look at that. We have our dough rolled out and pressed in into 2 different sizes, and just where you think it's enough. Now you're just gonna close it up like this, and you wanna keep pressing it in so that you have some of your dough hanging out. You wanna close them very tightly. The reason for that is because we're going to boil them. And you don't want any of the filling leaking out while it's in the process of being boiled. Fork and just go around and press it in, just like that. Don't leave out any gaps. And they should look just like that. Perfect. All right, let's do some more. Final step, all our pierogis are ready. Our water is boiling. Our onions are slowly starting to come together. We're gonna slowly put one by one into the boiling water. And you really don't want the water to boil too heavy because it's gonna rip the pierogis apart and have the filling escape from the inside of the dough. Slide them right in. And again, boiling water, salted. Always salted. See, you can always fry your pierogis in butter after they're nice and cooked, nice and boiled. So now our pierogis have surfaced for about 4 to 5 minutes. They're ready to be taken out. Drain all the water out of them. You know that you did a pretty good job closing them down with the stuffing inside of them because the water that they're boiling in isn't murky. That means none of the stuffing fell out. All right, here is our final product. The last thing to do is to dress them up a little bit. Some caramelized onions with olive oil. Wow. There we go. Can't get any better than that. There you go, you can never have plenty. Perfect. Now, scallions. Look at that freshness. Just a little bit of green on there. There you go. And a couple of dabs of sour cream on it. That's what makes it nice and juicy. Perfect texture. They're really gonna taste amazing. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for this recipe. We're finally done. It took a little bit of effort, a little bit of work, but it was all worth it. Look at these. Potato and cheese stuffed pierogis with toppings of caramelized onions, fresh scallions, and sour cream. Thank you again for sticking around. The recipe for these pierogis are gonna be in the description down below. Na zdrowie!